And hello and welcome to Uptown Tonight. We're at our 96th episode tonight. We were just talking about that. Almost 100, 4 to go here. I don't even think I have someone scheduled for that date yet, so I'm going to have to reach out and find somebody. So if you're interested, yeah, reach out to me too. I am your host, Mr. Wayne Stallenfacher, and this is Uptown Tonight, the FM Area's weekly entertainment podcast where we do believe a rising tide does raise all ships. So you can help us out while we're trying to help out the area's entertainers by liking, subscribing, sharing, all that happy fun stuff you can do on the interwebs there. And today we have Mr. Tyler. Whoa, there we go. Lenertz, straight in from LA. I am beyond jealous of the pictures he's sent me and everything else. This is going to be fun. We get to hear what he's been doing for the past few months. Hopefully not pissing around too much. But I got a feeling that he's learned quite a bit and has made many contacts. There's no other person out there that you'd rather be other than this guy right there. But there's enough of my accolades. We need to talk about me for a moment because I am boring. So let's get to what I've done. Oh, yes, we do have Uptown merch. Uptown t-shirts. You can get us at the Windbreak here in a couple of weeks. Or this weekend, we're going to be up in Grand Forks and find us there. And I think we're going to be at J.C. Chumley's in a couple of weeks as well. So we'll be in town a couple of times. And then there's Zevers. He doesn't sound like that anymore, but we kind of locked him in the backyard today. And that couch definitely doesn't look like that anymore. And then Cito, he's hanging on old Junior. Junior helps us sell our Uptown merch on the stage there. So there's Junior. Come and say hi to Junior and get yourself an Uptown shirt. And then support our troops. Now, I know Tyler was a vet. My son is in the military as well. He's talking about re-upping and everything else now. So, yeah. Please support our troops. And then last weekend, for New Year's Eve, this is what it looked like. Right between the signs there, I made my debut as a professional saxophone player with some lang at the very end there. So, yes, I made it through, not like last year where I kind of bit it at the last second. I've actually played the entire thing. You can actually find a video of it on Cito de la Garza's Facebook page. I was unable to at least download the video or anything, but it's up there on his page. You want to check it out. And then there's the dance floor as we were going along. It was a private event up in Minto, North Dakota. Yeah, good time. We got out early, so we were home by 4 o'clock. It was a good day. All right, so enough about me. A little boring. Let's get to Tyler. How you doing, man?
Doing good. Good.
Man.
Happy to be here.
You might want to eat the microphone just a little bit.
A little bit more?
Yep.
There we go.
Can you reach?
How's that?
Oh, duct tape productions here, you know. Yeah, closer you can, the better off. I can move this microphone if you want to.
I think we're good here.
Okay. Cool. So, first off, let's just talk about why you wanted to go to LA in the first place. Like, what is driving you out there besides the obvious, you know?
Well, Los Angeles is a real big city. I think it probably has the biggest music scene in the world. You can see legit A-list musicians on almost a daily basis there. You can just, there's just venues all over the place.
Just on a daily basis.
And probably the biggest reason I'm there is a school. So I went to Musicians Institute, and I just finished my first quarter there.
Oh, yeah. Musicians Institute. So they give grades out there then?
They do. Yep, they do.
You're willing to give out the GPA, or is that going to be under grabs for a little while here?
I actually don't have two of my grades back. My theory and my ear training, I haven't gotten those back yet. But everything else are A's. So.
They're even lazy like that too.
I guess they must be.
I'm digressing. No, they're not lazy. So cool. How'd it go then out there? He's doing the schooling stuff. Was that a good choice?
Yes, yeah, I absolutely love it out there. The atmosphere, the different culture, just kind of being in that bigger city. It has like that hustle and bustle type of attitude to it. Or at least that's kind of what it felt like anyway for me when I got there. The school is filled with a bunch of musicians that really want to play and they want to get better. So I really wouldn't want to be anywhere else.
Nice.
So it was just fantastic. I'm excited for the rest.
Nice. They ever give any flack about being from North Dakota?
Everybody that asks, I tell them, like, what? Like, where is that? Or some people don't know it.
It's true. It's true.
One of my teachers is from Canada, so he's been to Fargo, and You know, so it's
A
kind of
Canadian
funny to
teacher,
run
that doesn't count. I remember being asked once if they had roads up there. I'm like, what? What do you think we're doing?
Yeah.
Have roads in North Dakota. Yes, we do. Thank you. Yeah, so when you were there, it's just like, what kind of classes did you take and all that?
So the first,
besides theory and
so the first quarter they just kind of signed me up for a bunch of them. So they had me in reading, technique, and performance, which was, they all kind of like work together.
Okay.
So like reading is, you know, they had me do like a what do you call it, entry level test or a placement test.
Okay.
Just to kind of see where you're at. So they put me in where like you're like given a chart and it's like, okay, so here are these figures on the chart. Okay, are they like ensemble figures? Do you like hit, you know, just kind of play along, or do you like stop, fill, set it up, play the figures, get back in, that type of stuff for reading, like actual like drum set reading.
Wow.
Then there's like the technique class. It like goes over different like figures that you can play, different fills, fill ideas, working on going from like a straight 4/4 feel to like a triplet, sextuplet type feel. And then the performance class is each week you get like a little tune that they write, or that they have written, and 1 week the teacher will demo the tune, and then one day, and then the next day or 2 days later you'll come in and you'll play that song with the teacher assistants that come in. So a guitar player and a bass player will come in, and then you'll play that song, and that's your assignment for that class.
Oh man! So the guitar player and bass player, are they students as well, or are they actual faculty? Or
most of them are former students.
Former students.
So they graduate, and then you can apply for a TA position, and there's a few things like that they do. Pretty you know.
I'm assuming that's paid.
Yep. Yeah, they get paid. Yep.
Cool.
Yep. Yeah. Yeah, it's fun to talk to them, kind of pick their brain and everything. But those three classes, they're set up so all the material can kind of translate back and forth to each other. So like, like
cross-curricular.
Yeah. And it's really great because you see the areas where like, oh, the chart in my performance class has these figures, and like, how do I approach it? Oh, well, we just did this in reading, last week. So it really does lay out pretty nicely. And then they had me in like a Sibelius class, so I was working like in Sibelius, just like making these different files.
Seriously, in Sibelius?
Mm-hmm.
Nice.
Mm-hmm.
Okay,
it's a good one.
I love that one.
Yep.
Everyone's finale. No, Sibelius.
So, yeah, it's a nice program. I don't have any experience with any of the other ones, so
they're pretty similar. Once you get into it, they are pretty similar. It's kind of like editing or video editing stuff. There's some different nuances to it, but overall they're pretty much the same.
Yeah. Once you kind of figure out where everything's at, it's just like, okay, well, you got to go find it.
A lot of the hotkeys are the same too.
There you go. Let's see, what else? Theory and ear training. Those also, cross-pollinate with each other pretty well. Ear training was tough. It's a tough class.
They ear training back here help you out at all with this? They started from scratch there, or is this a little more advanced?
Nope. So on my placement test, I placed into level 3s of everything. So it's a couple steps up. So we started with like the pentatonic scale, the blues scale.
Oh, fun.
And then we ended with like 7th chords and modes, just in the major modes. So it wasn't all completely new material, which was nice. Kind of ease your way into the more difficult material. But man, just that, being a drummer, it's a handicap anyway.
What?
But the ear training is difficult. But they make it so you can have a fighting chance, with the tough stuff. You get graded on your attendance, and you have discussion posts that you do every week, and like your assessments, which is basically like homework, and you can retake them and get 100%. And then you just got to hope your grade is padded enough to take a hit on the final.
Oh man. I bet you did just fine.
We'll see. I'm sure it was fine.
Exactly. Just remember being in North Texas and we had like listening libraries you had to go to because you didn't have the fancy internet and all that fun stuff at that point. Well, it was very infancy at that time. So they always have these jazzers out there and always listening to these chord progressions and then they have to pick them out. And it just blew my mind. I was lucky to get the major scale going up and down. So that was me.
Yeah, I can do okay if I have my notes in front of me, with like my little tricks and whatever to like remember everything.
Yep.
And then if I can sit on a piano, that's even better. But if you take all those away, it's a little nerve-wracking.
Alone at the desk.
Yeah.
They actually have desks there then? Like a traditional classroom or?
No, at least not the classrooms I've been in.
Okay.
The closest one like that would be like the library, and they have like these tables with like these cubicles. Probably the closest thing I've seen to a desk. But like for my technique reading class, you have a drum throne and you have like this practice tree in front of you, which is just like a bunch of little practice pads.
Oh, serious?
Yeah.
That's cool.
Yeah, so you can sit there and, whatever on your practice pad while one of the other students is like playing their thing or like while the teachers, could be like, hey, okay, everybody, we're going to do this, so then we all have this little practice pad.
That's cool. Is it like a bunch of other drummers in the classroom then?
Yep.
That's what you're basically saying.
Yep,
okay.
Yeah, so the reading technique and performance was all drummers.
How many were in there then?
Five, maybe six.
Okay.
So it's pretty
small. Are you guys all competitive against each other, or is
it's
pretty camaraderie?
It's pretty supportive.
Okay, that's cool.
Yeah, it's really supportive.
Everyone helping each other out.
Yeah, and it's cool. It's nice because 1 week it's like, oh, I got this, and then someone else might struggle, and then a couple weeks later it might be the exact opposite because everybody has a little bit different background with stuff that they can and can't do, and
of course,
and it's just how it goes. But yeah, it's a great environment. Yeah, we really support each other there quite a bit.
Cool. So you making any friends then, like with any?
Oh yeah,
okay.
Absolutely. Yep.
So they have like guitars and all that other fun stuff there too, right?
Yep. Yeah, so they have a program for all the instruments, vocals, bass, guitar, keys, drums. They do, I forget what it's called, but like some like EDM or DJ electronic music type program.
Oh, seriously? You can have that too? That's cool.
And then they also do like audio engineering and like producing and that sort of thing. Like you can study like music business. Like anything music related, like you can study that at that school.
It's there. How big is the school?
Probably like 500-600 students.
Okay. And that covers how many blocks then? Could you even guesstimate, or is it?
So there's one building that's right off of Hollywood Boulevard. So yeah,
that's gotta suck.
Yeah, you walk past like Ozzy Osbourne, Motley Crue. Kiss is right there. Journey is right there. Some pretty iconic stars that are right in front of the school.
Oh, jeez.
So they
gotta give me a plane ticket.
Yeah. So they have a building that's like right out there, with like a little courtyard in between, and that has there's some classrooms there, but that's mostly like the administration offices and such. And then you keep walking, you go through an alley, so like it's a separated building, and then that building has like all the recording studios, all the classrooms, the practice rooms, and everything. And they might have one other building somewhere else. I'm unsure of that, but it's relatively small. Yeah, it doesn't
nice and
seem that big.
concise. So
yeah, it is. It is. Mm-hmm.
They know what they're looking for. Well, cool. Let's get to some of your photos here, because you got plenty of them, and I know there's a bunch of stories behind that, because I want to get into like the stories of like who you ran into and everything else there.
Okay.
I think the visual aid might help us out with that. So let's go to that. Let's see. Whoop. Well, that's definitely not L.A.
Nope, that is not. This last weekend, I went on an ice fishing trip with a couple friends who've been planning it for a while, and we got out there, and that date in particular, we set up and we just got beat up the whole day. Nothing really happening, and then probably within like an hour, we each catch a pretty good walleye. And we're like, that's good enough. We're gonna go back, and then we cooked it all and had a pretty good time that night.
Nice. What lake was that?
That was Pelican. Yeah,
oh, Pelican. Yeah,
yep.
It's not too far.
No. Yeah. So after, or I should say, before this summer, I was actually studying at MSUM for I was there for a couple of years, and that I took that picture with Dr. Strait after the jazz ensemble concert my last semester.
Oh, very nice.
Yeah, we were dealt a handful of pretty difficult tunes, and we did pretty well. So that was a pretty successful night.
Now is that, I want to say Weld Hall?
That is Weld. Yeah.
Okay.
Yep.
I do remember some MSUM Lord. Yeah. Remember watching Mike Coates out there playing. He used to do these tributes basically, and I think that was Jimi Hendrix one that I saw him play on that stage. He had this that's iconic for him, but he had this blue Marshall double stack that apparently there's like only a handful of them made in the entire world. He had one of them on there. But that's my Weld story.
So here, this picture, let's see, I have 3 other classmates and one teacher, and then myself. We went to this is Catalina Jazz Club, like a block and a half or 2 from the school, and Simon Phillips was playing that night, so we all decided to get a ticket. And we went to see him, and he decided to get a ticket, and he had a giant,
smiling over.
had a giant drum set, like, all the way to the left, all the way to the right, and it was
in a jazz club.
The jazz club, this small little stage. He had this giant drum set. Yeah, it was great, fantastic show. We kind of stood off to the side. A bunch of people went up to him, and we went up to him, shook his hand, and really nice guy. Yeah, it was fun to watch him play.
Oh, I wish I had a picture of the drum set. Oh, and Dr. Carter.
Yeah, that's
been the big name in this room for the past few weeks. Yeah.
Oh, yep. Yeah.
Been talking a lot about him. A lot of respect for that man. I wish I would have got him on the podcast before he left. So hopefully he comes back and I can snag him in here.
Maybe. Yeah. Maybe if he decides to come back.
Come back to the group. 10. What does he say? 10 below when you got here.
Yeah.
What was the temperature when you left?
It was 70 degrees and sunny.
I'm sorry.
I got a pretty interesting story coming home too.
Oh.
Flying in from California, I flew into Minneapolis, and I was going to fly into Fargo. So we get to Minneapolis, we get close, and the pilot's like, due to the weather at Minneapolis airport, the airport's like half shut down, yada yada yada. We can't.
It was crazy here for like a week there. Yeah, it was nuts.
Yeah. I kind of came in right at the tail end of a bunch of snow and storms, so we had to fly around and stall because they, I guess, didn't have enough people at the airport. So we had to wait in the air, and then we finally got to land. And then my connecting flight was like supposed to like start boarding in an hour. So I walk over there, and I'm hearing these other flights get canceled as I'm walking to my connecting flight. And I'm like, I hope this comes through. And it's like, almost 10 o'clock at night. The whole airport's shut down. So I get to the gate, and then we get pushed back. Get delayed. And I eventually start talking to this guy next to me, and we just keep, just chit-chatting. And at 1:15 in the morning, they're like, flight's canceled.
1:15.
Yeah, so like sat there for about 3 hours just to have the flight get canceled. So then this guy I was talking to, he's like, well, I have travel insurance. You want me to get a hotel with 2 beds? I'm like, yes, absolutely.
Yeah. That's all I'm going to say.
So we, so we went to the hotel.
That's the kind of thing that you push out into the world. I mean, it should come back to you like that. Yes. Jeez, Tyler.
Anyway, so we get to spend the night in a hotel instead of on the floor at the airport. And then actually on the way to the hotel, we got a text from Delta saying that, we can't find a flight back to Fargo in the next 48 hours. So we were stranded in Minneapolis, and this within 2 days that we would have been there over Christmas. Then, so he was telling his fiance what was going on and everything, and by the time we woke up that next morning, his fiance's mom woke up early and started driving down to Minneapolis, and she picked both of us up and then drove us back to Fargo.
Seriously?
Yep.
The fiance's mom.
The fiance's mom.
This guy must have had some golden something going on. Wow.
Yeah.
And you just happened to be right there.
Just happened.
Right.
Yep. Just happened to be able to catch a ride. It was fantastic. It could not have could not have been any better. But it really did feel like planes, trains, and automobiles.
Yes. Oh, the adventures. Hopefully it's not that adventurous getting back up.
I sure hope not.
Yeah. But when are you leaving for that anyways?
Leaving on Friday.
Friday? So you only have a few days left here in the good old Fargo, Nagoya, You can tell them we do speak like that. That was one of the questions I got. I was just like, "You're from Fargo? You don't talk like that." And I was like, "Talk like what?" I haven't seen the movie at that point. It just came out then. So I don't know if that holds anymore. But I just remember them asking me that.
I get that a lot too. Oh, Fargo? You mean like the movie? Like, no.
No, yeah. Oh, jeez. No wood chippers here, yeah. All right. Well, here we are with Dr. Carter. What's happening?
So this was actually at oh my goodness, I'm blanking on the name.
Is it a venue in town? Or?
Yeah, it was a venue in town.
In Hodo or?
Side Street.
Side Street,
it's at
okay.
Side Street upstairs on Jazz Night. So this was his last show that he played in town. So I went and snagged a picture with him before I took off, and yeah, it was kind of a nice little celebration, with him and his retirement and everything, and just thankful to be able to study with him for the last 2 years, and he actually moved down to Palm Springs, which is just a couple hours away from LA.
Nice.
So I swung down there to see him over Thanksgiving, over a little Thanksgiving break from school.
Oh, that's good.
Yeah.
You have a vehicle down there then, or?
I do. Yeah, I took my car, so I drove all the way from Fargo.
You drove all the way there.
Yeah. Took 3 days to get down there.
Just like the Karate Kid, but not quite as far. You can come from Newark.
Okay, that's from a gig I did this last summer with Shirts and Skins. I forget where exactly that was, but it was a street dance. Yeah, it was a fun show. Yeah, I forget where it was, but I remember it was good.
Set, just like, oh, it's so golden, it's beautiful.
Yeah, they had the right colors on it, but they had that stage was a semi truck that had the stage kind of folded up, so then like the guy would press the button and then the stage would kind of fold down.
That must have been in Finley then.
Yeah, there you
we
go.
were on that stage either the night before or the night after.
That's right.
We got rained out, and I don't think they took too kindly to that. I'm sorry. I really wanted to play that because I used to teach there. So.
There we go, and that's a group shot from that same gig.
There it is.
Yeah, we had a great time that night. That was a lot of fun. It was a great show.
Yeah, those guys get out and get to it.
Mm-hmm.
Oh, got a little adventure.
Yeah,
country.
Yeah. So kind of as a little last hurrah before I move, I went on a pretty long hiking trip up in northern Minnesota, up on the shore of Lake Superior. So I was up there for 18 days, did 180 miles, and yeah, that's a picture of. I forget which state park we walked through, quite a few of them, but that's a waterfall up there.
Like the state park's all connected somehow, or just how it went?
So along the coast of Superior, there's like a state park here, and then like a handful of miles later, like 20 miles or whatever later, there's another one, and then another one, and then another one.
Oh, serious?
So and the state parks was what has like the really cool scenery, so like the really big waterfalls. The places with like really really cool views, touristy areas.
Yep.
And then the trail that I hiked connected all of them.
Oh.
So the trail I was on was the Superior Hiking Trail. And then we started up at the northern terminus, which when you're at the top of that little that mountain, you can see Canada. So you're like a mile away from Canada.
Oh,
and
nice.
And then we hiked down. We did skip a few other sections. We were moving a little slower due to me and my feet. I started to get blisters.
Oh no!
Yeah, but I mean that's the name of the game. But we did a really good chunk. And God, man, that was a blast. It was so much fun up there.
Can't tell by the beard this guy likes to be outdoors.
Yeah.
There we go.
Yeah, that's one of the payoff pictures.
I don't think you'd get me out that far.
There's a lot more rock than what it looks like.
Okay.
But yeah, it is a pretty high up scene. A little scary if you look down, but yeah, that's that. Right before you get there, you're just getting beat up by this mountain, pretty steep climb, and then that kind of comes out of nowhere. It's a good spot to sit down,
Wow,
take a little break.
Amazing view there, right on top of the trees.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, that's another one. I think that one's Cascade River, which would be in Cascade River State Park.
Clever dude.
Yeah. Who would have thought? Yeah, and there's another really good one. I think that's at section 13. Could be wrong. But there's a lot of rock in that area, and just lots of really good views. You can see the Minnesota skyline with the trees and the rivers and the lake, and then you can't see it in that picture, but if you take one from the right angle, you see just this big field of blue, which is Lake Superior in the background.
Oh, nice.
Mm-hmm.
The Simpsons clouds you got in the background.
Yeah. Yeah.
Oh, and that's for the first slideshow. Actually, so much that we had to do a double take here. So here we go on the train tracks.
Yeah.
There's a story that goes with this.
Yeah, well, we just felt a little silly as we were walking across them.
I'm trying to remember the name of those cartoon characters. They always tie people to the train tracks. I can't think of it.
That's what I was thinking of. As soon as I saw the railroad tracks, I just randomly had that thought. I'm like, hang on, and I gave my friend my phone. I'm like, you gotta take a picture here. We escaped. No train hit us. All is good.
That's good. So is this out in the middle of nowhere, basically, or is that kind of like there's just a roadway and you're just crossing stuff?
So there is a road that goes right up the shore of Superior, so you're never too far away from civilization.
Oh, okay.
And like the trail does get pretty close to town, so you can like run in and resupply, get more food, fuel, anything else you'd need. And there are trains around. Like you'll be, we were at a campsite, just sitting there by the fire, and it's dark, and you feel so isolated, and all of a sudden you'll hear like a train. Like, oh, okay, well maybe I'm not that far out in the woods. It sure feels like it. Hear a train or something, but
just makes you wonder, like, how isolated can you get these days anymore? Unless maybe if you go into Canada, I bet you could find some strange stuff.
You can get pretty isolated. I did a trip out in Medora, western North Dakota, earlier, well, in 2022 now, and they're like the whole time, like we had like almost no cell phone reception, which is like fun and a little scary in its own aspect. But, yeah.
No cell phone. What shall I do?
So that's a picture of my hammock. So I brought my hammock set up, and that's my tarp kind of going over it.
Nice setup.
Really comfortable, super comfortable. It did rain a handful of days when we were out there, and I was able, if I have my tarp kind of set up like that, I have my little camp chair, can sit underneath it, make breakfast, have a little spot. You can kind of do your stuff and stay out of the wet.
Man, that's got to be refreshing, just to be away from all the electronics and stuff, and just let your mind just go again.
Yeah, just to be away from the grind and
I gotta
hustle
do
and
that
bustle.
next. I just have to do that. Ooh, that's nice.
There we go. Yeah, that's a good one. That might be Gooseberry Falls State Park. That's a really popular one. A lot of people get married out there. Or
do you get to go swimming down in there then?
You can, yeah.
Can you?
Yeah, you can. Yep, absolutely. Yep.
Just thinking about the cartoons and things.
Yeah. Yeah, it was on the chillier side when we were there, so we never did jump it. We did jump into Lake Superior, which was very cold. Very
It's
cold.
always cold, yep.
I think the average temp is like 54.
Oh, yeah.
It's super cold. You can't go slow. If you walk in, you'll talk yourself out of it. You just gotta run and jump in. Yeah. Yeah. Yeah.
There's the blue LED. Yep.
That's my first cup of coffee I had in my apartment. It was quite the hunt to get an apartment once I got to California. But my two roommates and I, we just did a bunch of homework and we went out there and we got one. And then we had the move. Moving's always fun. So we all helped each other. Dragging all of our stuff, and I brought some LED lights, and my roommate and I we kind of set these rope lights to go like underneath the cupboards and up and over the top around the ceiling and everything. It took a while, but it's cool. It looks nice.
You have more alcohol in your fridge than food. That's usually how it starts off. But now here's where the jealousy starts to begin.
Yeah. So, only like a couple miles from the school and from my apartment, there's this venue called the Baked Potato, and this is a very, very famous venue. Really small, only like 60, 75 people.
Very intimate.
Very, very intimate, and it sounds phenomenal. And they have A-list musicians, A-list bands every night of the week.
Every night of the week.
They have something going. I mean, they might have an off night here and there, but like every week there's like four or five shows every weekend. There's somebody, and there I got to see Marvin Smitty Smith play with one of the guitar teachers at Musicians Institute. So just a phenomenal show. We sat. Was me to you away from him.
I'm just shaking my head over here.
During his set.
I can only imagine, because Smitty Smith was one of the guys that really pushed. Well, he got into my head. Just watching him from an old video. It's old now. Burning for Buddy it was called, and it was Smitty Smith and then like the guy from Journey, Steve Smith, and they had like this drum off thing in there. And then Steve Smith with his ponytail and whatever else. And he thought he was doing cool, and he was doing all this stuff, some paradiddle things in there. And then Smitty Smith would come in twice as fast and just smoke him every time. And oh man, it was so much fun to watch him play. It was just effortless, but oh wow, he was all over that thing.
Smitty's a killer. It was just a pleasure to get him, just to be able to watch him play. So we showed up for the first set. And we got sat, wherever we got sat, kind of in the corner. You could still kind of see, but it was off to the side a little bit. And they finished their set, which was about a little over an hour or so. And like the whole band went backstage, just to kind of hang out. So me and my buddy that I went with, we walked back there and we just started talking to Smitty. So we, started asking us like, oh, what are you doing here? Oh, you're your students. What are you working on? Da da da. He talked a lot about aging. He's in his 60s. He's getting up there. So we talked a lot about taking care of your body, stretching, and not pushing yourself when you're not like too warmed up. Just a great guy. We sat and talked to him for like 20 minutes and got a picture with him. And then the second set was about to start, and the house wasn't sold out, so we got to stay. And then that's when we picked our seats, and we gave ourselves really close seats, and we sat just a couple feet away from his.
So you pay per set at this venue?
Mm-hmm.
Interesting.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, and it's
wow.
Yeah.
And Smitty Smith wouldn't put you on the VIP list.
Unfortunately, no. Unfortunately, not.
I don't wonder if that's even a thing. And there it is, the Baked Potato.
Yep. Yeah, so that was the other time I went there. Mike Stern was playing, and this was just a few days before I actually flew back home.
So how much are tickets for that? If you want to see, I should
say. So the Smitty Smith show was like $35.
Well, that ain't so bad.
No, it's not bad. And then they have a 2-drink minimum. You know?
So there's another 20.
Yeah. But it depends who's playing. So I've seen shows for like $25 is like the cheapest I've seen it, and that show, the Mike Stern show, that was $70 per set. So you had to really want to go to that one if you wanted to be there.
That's still interesting, set by set.
Mm-hmm. But I'm sure it's the next picture. But yeah, that's why I paid that much to go there.
There you go.
Yeah, that's Dennis Chambers. He's played with who's who. You know, he's played and toured with Steely Dan
and Zappa.
Yeah. He's one of my heroes for sure. He's one of the first guys I started to watch, and you know, one of the real reasons why I got into drums. And I'm always fascinated by what he can do. And just his vocabulary on the drums is just phenomenal. And to be able to see him live, it was just a treat. Unfortunately, the second set was sold out, so we didn't stick around.
You got booted.
And it was kind of bittersweet because the next day was finals for me. That was on a Sunday night, and
that's probably a good thing then.
Yeah.
Get home.
Yep, and it was a big day. I had I flew home on a Wednesday afternoon during finals week. So I only had Monday and Tuesday to get all my finals in. So I had 6 finals on Monday and 1 on Tuesday.
Well, you got them done.
I did. I had a story on, or like a progression of my day on like my Instagram and Facebook story of like.
I remember seeing some of those.
The first 6 finals ahead, and I'm all smiling, and by the end, I'm like tired. And the last one, I'm drinking a beer.
Made it.
Yeah.
I just remember looking at a old advertisement, one of my modern drummers from the 90s of Dennis Chambers, and it's just a shutter speed freaking little trick, but it's basically he's just swinging a stick down to a snare drum, and it just had that whole blur thing to it. Basically trying to show how fast this guy could play and everything else. But that's where that's still stuck in my head, so that definitely. His
hands are phenomenal. Oh my goodness!
Just watching the YouTube videos, I couldn't imagine live.
Right? Yeah.
But then you had to come back to this.
Yeah. So I took that.
Remember this?
Yeah. Yeah. I took that the first morning of our ice fishing trip. So we went to my buddy's fiance's parents have a cabin out kind of in Lakes Country. So that day it was a little bit windy, might have been snowing a hair, and it was pretty foggy. But actually it wasn't that cold. It was probably like in the 20s. But I sent that picture to all my friends in California, and they're like, "Oh my gosh, that's so much snow."
You're like, it's nothing.
Yeah,
we shouldn't have this much right now.
Yeah. No. Yeah.
I was hoping so much for a brown Christmas.
Yeah, I was too.
And then it came in and said, "Oh, remember me?" Yes. Ding.
Yeah. That picture, me and the guy, all 3 of us actually just finished our last final. That's Christian on the left, and then Robin on the right. Two good friends that I made. Robin's from Germany, Christian's from Denmark. And,
oh my God.
Mm-hmm. Robin just came for the 1 quarter, so he just came for 10 weeks to study and get as much as he can. And he's I'm going to name drop. He studies under Annika Niles back in Germany.
Oh, nice.
Yeah.
Man.
Yeah, crazy.
I can already see you flying out to Germany now. Oh, I'm just taking a couple of lessons. Oh my God.
Yeah.
Oh my God. And this is cool.
Yeah, that's at Runyon Canyon. So that's like you're hiking up like in the Hollywood Hills area. And that's just like to get to the start of Runyon Canyon is like a 5, 6, 7 minute walk from my apartment. So a lot of, quite a bit. My roommates and I went, "Hey, you want to go for a walk?" Yep. And we go for a hike up there, and it's a couple miles. I don't think I actually ever looked the whole way around, but we've done it quite a few times, and you get really, really beautiful pictures like this.
You can see the skyline out in the distance there.
And that one picture doesn't do it justice. You're like in the Hollywood Hills looking towards like the ocean, and you see the ocean. You see that island out there, and then there's like completely from left to right. It's just, you know, a bunch of concrete, bunch of buildings. You see, like, you can see downtown, you can see LAX. Yeah, it's crazy how big it is, and you don't really get a feel for that until like, I didn't anyway, until I like actually walked up there and saw it. It's like, wow, this place is really big, and coming from North Dakota, you know, that's about as different as you can get.
Just slightly. Yes. Oh my gosh.
But it's, yeah, absolutely gorgeous up there.
Yeah, that's the end of our photos. So we got to get to the weekly report here, but I'm gonna key this into you. How many more semesters are you taking there, and do you plan on maybe sticking around, or is there any kind of job prospects that might be creeping into the picture here? I'm going to let you think about that for a moment, because now we got to get to the weekly report. So see you now, we missed you, man. All right, going downtown, we got Dempsey's open mic night tomorrow with Gina Powers, and then Pat Lenertz band with Jeffrey Myers and their vinyl release. I believe it's a party on Friday. The 6th, it's Specs. We have CBR Live on Friday. The Troll Lounge, open mic night tomorrow night with the Amp School of Music. We'll be hosting that one. So get on up and get some open mic night and stuff. And then we got American Legion in Moorhead. We got MVT on Saturday the 7th. Going out of town, we got the nothing's happening up there this weekend. Why do I have that up there? I have no idea. Then the Laughing Sun Brewing Company in Bismarck, Mandan, our favorite brewing company in the Bismarck, Mandan area. On Thursday, we have Overeducated on Friday, and Hi Hui, I believe I'm saying that correct, on Saturday, and nothing happening on Tuesday. And then the Sandbar 2, we have Mike J. Morris is going to be out there on Friday. Going uptown at the Windbreak, October Road, Thursday and Friday. And then Semi-Charmed Hero on Saturday the 7th. We're going up north to Grand Forks to Southtown Poorhouse. We got Semi-Charmed Hero on Friday night. And then uptown, whoever that band is, we're playing on Saturday night. Shooting Star Cantina Troubadours at the Mustang Lounge Friday and Saturday this week. Then we go down to the Downtown Acoustic Corner. As we speak, Rick Adams with Brady Robertson's at the Murphy's Pub. It's exactly where I'm heading as soon as we're done with this podcast. You're welcome to come along if you want. And we've got a Gentleman and the Scholars at the Roundup Saloon. Probably as we speak right now too. Friday, January 6th, we got Scrizzly Adams at the Midtown Tavern. I love that name. Rick Adams again at Silver Spike, and Michael Pink at Tailgaters. Saturday, January 7th, with Rick Adams at the VFW. Rick Adams getting all the work this week. Richard Freeman at the Silver Dollar Flying Pig, and Michael Pinkett at Murphy's Pub. And we're downtown, Front Street Tap Room, Vinyl and Vino tomorrow night, and open mic with Travis Niros next Monday, the night. The Cellar open mic with Mark Craig Belcher's happening probably right as we speak. Wednesday the 4th, so you're looking to tighten up your 2 minutes or just get some stand-up stuff going on. That's probably the place to do it. VFW in Fargo, Crossfire Friday and Saturday, and then the 42nd Street Delta, we have Kathy breaking the 42nd Street Jazz Band tomorrow night. And that's all we have for you this week. So let's get back to Tyler. So Tyler, what are your prospects for the future here?
Well,
at least the tie-ins with the LAs.
Well, the program I'm in at the school, it's a 3-year program.
Okay.
Chopped up into quarters, and then you study year round. So the bachelor program is 3 years.
So literally 12 semesters? Or
12 quarters.
12 quarters.
Yep. So 10.
I'll get this terminology.
Yeah. 10 weeks of class, week of finals, 2 weeks off.
Okay.
Which is like the perfect amounts of time to like study hard. Okay, time off. Okay, study and time off.
Gotcha.
Then I'm undecided about this next one yet, but you know, it all kind of depends on how like the next handful of years play out too. Sure. But they do offer a master's program.
A master's
at Musicians Institute, so that's always a possibility. And I believe that's a year and a half. I forget off the top of my head how long that one is.
Sorry.
And then after school, I'm going to be trying my hand at gigging. Try to gig. Probably teach. Just find work out there.
Yes.
I'm going to school there, meeting people there, making connections, kind of getting to know people around town. While I'm in school,
talking to Dennis Chambers and Martin Smith, the usual.
So hoping something will materialize, or or be able to find something. Maybe to TA. That would be a great start.
Well, I certainly hope something happens out there for you. You have the right attitude on all this stuff. You always have. And I'm going to say that forever because you do. And yes, a little bit jealous, I can say. But, that was when I came back from Texas for no reason whatsoever. I could have stayed down there and then came back to Fargo. So something about this place. I don't know what it is. But happy that you're out at LA.
Yeah,
definitely,
me
definitely
too.
Happy about that.
Yeah, I'm really happy with where I'm at, and I really wouldn't want to be anywhere else. It's a real nice spot that I got myself in.
That's awesome. You got anyone you want to give shout outs to before we get off of here? Because, but first we need a little juvenile destruction. Oh. I almost forgot about the off the roof section. So, well, ready for some juvenile destruction?
Let's do it.
Okay, it's going to be recycled just because there's too much snow here.
I'm scared I'm gonna miss.
Scared I'm gonna miss. Miss what? Is this the one I've been looking for? Nope. Whoa. Oh, what was that?
Go.
I'm on the search for a particular one. I don't know what they are, so I just put the dates down. Ooh, that was a good.
Something porcelain.
That was a good hit.
Glass.
Why is it so much fun to break things? I don't know.
Bowl. Right?
Looks like it.
Don't miss.
I'm not going to say the one I'm looking for, but I thought it was the most epic one. Oh, there we go. It was so colorful. I'm kind of tricky joking.
I'm scared I'm gonna miss.
Good job, Sarah. All right, that's this week's Off the Roof. And again, the only reason why we do that is because it's fun and stupid. That's why we used to have parties back here back in the day, and at some raging time, someone would be up on the roof throwing random electronics off. So, just keeping the tradition alive. That's what we do. So you got something you want to break, drop it off, throw it in my yard. I don't really care. We'll come and pick it up for you, too. Just want to see it broken. On the YouTubes, we can definitely do that for you. But let's get to Tyler. You got any shout-outs or anything you want to do? You ran into Kyle Kemple earlier today. Shout out to Kyle. And anyone else?
Put me on the spot here.
Name all your friends. Go.
Give my buddy out the shout out from Denmark, Christian.
There you go, Christian.
Looking forward to jamming with you again. We it was like kind of a last hurrah. We got into a room at the school with 2 drum sets and just shouted back and forth, traded a whole bunch.
Man, that would be so much fun.
Yeah, it was a blast.
Did you record it?
We didn't know. It was kind of a spur of the moment thing.
Throw the GoPros up and get going, yeah. You remember that for next time.
Yeah,
That'd be some good footage.
That would be, it would be.
Very cool. All right. Anything left for the good of the order then before we get out of here there?
No, I don't think so.
I got to get to Murphy's Pub and see some Brady and some I forgot the other guy's name. We're doing this live. Yeah, that's why we're doing this live. Yep, there we go. Rick Adams. Sorry, Rick. Coming out to see you as well. And I think Peter Lord Wilbur, because Mr. Peter is actually from Norwegian, the kings and queens there. Why am I missing terms tonight? That's okay. I'm getting old. But, yep, he's going to be stepping in as well. So, you can find us all on the ticky-tacks, up to the Instagrams, everything else, Uptown Tonight Podcast, or else you can find us at uptownbandfargo.com and all other fun stuff. You can find out what the band's doing, what the podcast is doing, all other stuff. If you want us to come destroy something for you, let us know. If you have anyone that you want to come on board, whatever else. Again, if you like, subscribe, share, do all that fun stuff out there, that's the best thing you can do for us. So, remember, if your drummer has more charisma than your front man, your band may be in trouble. But that's why my band's doing just fine. So, until next time.